And Vincent, in talking about the geography, Greenland is obviously in the Arctic Circle. What is it that makes it crucial for the US in terms of what the professor said, in terms of the threat from China and Russia?
Well, I think three components, right? I mean, the professor talked about national security, and certainly that's a huge part of it. I mean, Greenland is situated right in sort of middle of the Atlantic. It's situated close to the Arctic Circle, and certainly China has a lot of interest in what's happening in the Arctic Circle. It's declared itself a near Arctic power and so forth. But the second part of it, which is probably less discussed, is the resources. I mean, they're just tremendous mineral resources, gas, energy, and a lot of that's just undeveloped. China has really put a lot of money in building icebreakers, building this Arctic Belt and Road project to try to build new Arctic bases in its vicinity and so forth. And I think...
And why does it do that? Just for the resources, or is there a little bit more to it?
I think it's a little bit more to it, and it has more to do with the strategic component than less people realize. And I think the focus that China has had is that because very few countries have focused on Arctic in the past, it's very sparsely populated. Everybody's distracted by contingency elsewhere. And China has found that the Arctic, because of global warming, because of these other issues now at play, it's become so much more important than it has in the past, and it's ripe for the taking. And so I do think that taken together, what we can probably deduce from Trump's comments on Greenland are similar to Panama in the respect that I think he's setting the stage for a set of negotiations that would, in his aim to take care of American security, national security, as well as energy interests, and to find some sort of accommodation with Greenland that may or may not include sovereignty. I mean, a good friend of mine, Alex Gray, who used to serve as chief of staff for Trump in the National Security Council, has floated this idea of a COFA-style agreement, this Compact of Free Association States, similar to what the U.S. has in the Pacific, in which there's an economic agreement, but the U.S., these are sovereign countries, but the U.S. supports these countries in return for certain, I think, extraterritorial rights. And so
basing, military basing, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and so forth. And so I do think that there is an interest in pursuing these negotiations, which will probably take place after Trump takes office, and it remains to be seen how the Greenlanders or Denmark is going to respond.